All right, so there are two issues that we're going to talk about. And one, the argument for affirmative action is A, diversity is good for everybody. So for the people who are left behind down here, part of being left behind is being segregated and being cut off from other groups, okay? But diversity is good. Everybody benefits from diversity. And so, therefore, we need to do what we need to do with groups down. Question. Can you tell us how you benefit from having like an educational or community or workplace diversity? How do you benefit? What's the value of diversity? Because affirmative action programs are based on two things. One is that diversity is good, and the other is that rebalancing historical inequality is good. How do you benefit from workplace diversity? Or educational diversity or community diversity? There's no right answer for that. I just want to know, what do you think? What are you thinking?
So for me, like the area that I grew up in was like either like predominantly either white or very like Mexican like school. So in a sense, there was like some like diversity, but not really, because if it's like mostly consisted of like two different ethnicity that was like more dominated compared to like having like other different region. And I was like one of the very few, like one or two Asians within like that school. And so if there was like more diversity, then it would like there would be like some kind of like inclusion within that like in my case, like in a school like community, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, and I feel like being able to meet like different kinds of people, like different grades, background, like would give me that more insight to like people's like background, people's beliefs, so that way like I can have that better sense of understanding like there's like differences instead of just like one or two consistent thing. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So Natalia, how would that benefit her? Like, how would that benefit her if she knew that? So she just said, yeah, I'd have more of an understanding. There are different types of people and so on. Okay, but how's that going to benefit her? Or how would that benefit you?
Okay. I'm going to answer this my way. So I think knowing our like ethnicities would kind of like help. I'm half Spanish, half Palestinian. So you don't really see Palestinians anywhere because they're just like, they're the ones that are at the bottom down here while everybody got to go up. So being in like I benefit from educational, community, and workplace diversity because especially here in college, there are a couple of Palestinians too. And even though a lot of people here from different groups kind of like group together, I kind of found my people because I also went to an all-white high school in America, and I didn't fit at all. They didn't make me feel like I fit either. So I think diversity in all these places kind of helps because you feel like you belong. Okay, so diversity allows people to feel a sense of belonging by finding people who are like them. Yes.
Okay, something else. Samal, Derek, like what else?
I mean, it's kind of tough to like say. I went to high school where it was like mainly a white high school, and it is like, I guess it's good to have it for that sense, yeah.
But think about just you. How would you benefit from having gone to a more diverse high school or being in a really diverse school now or workplace or whatever the case is? How would you personally benefit?
So that's tough. It's like tough for me to think about an answer for that. I mean,
by the way, I'm going to take you off the hook here for a second, and I'm going to have you answer. This is the question that nobody ever asks. We assume a benefit, but like we don't really ask it. We don't really go deep beneath the surface and keep asking. So yeah, go ahead, man. How would you benefit?
I mean, the way I'm thinking about it is, if I'm only seeing like one race my whole life, and that's all I'm like hanging out with, who I'm doing all my work with, I feel like I'll get really used to that, like in only that specific race.
Yeah.
But if now coming to college, say, I'm meeting all these different types of races, and I'm becoming close with all these different kinds of people, it's almost like a change for me in that, like I wouldn't be used to seeing all like people from coming all over the world. But
Okay. And therefore you benefit because.
I mean, I guess it just opens me up to like different experiences, I guess.
And
Like,
that benefits you because.
I honestly don't know. Like it.
Well, how about it benefits society because when you're more open, then we all benefit because.
Like it allows other people to see who I really am. Like,
Okay, Samal, how about how about you?
Okay, so I agree with what he was saying, but the way I see it is, I'm gonna start with myself. So I grew up in Philly, and Philly's predominantly black. So growing up, middle school, high school, elementary school, it was all just mainly black people. The first time I'm really seeing diversity was coming to college, and I think that the way I was able to benefit with that is to be able to see different cultures, and not even just cultures itself, but also how different people were raised. And I feel like that also helps me learn about other people. And when I'm like, let's say for like a group project, for example, I would have one way of thinking, and that's because of the way how I was raised. Another person would have a way of thinking because of how they was raised. So when it's time to work together, it's like I'll see their insight on things, and I feel like that is beneficial.
It's beneficial because.
Is able to let me see other people's point of view.
Yeah. So what I want to say here is there's this assumption that diversity is good because it opens us up, right? But it's an assumption, and nobody ever really responds to the assumption in that way, right? How do people with lesser means benefit from diversity? Meaning like not the person at the top, right? How do people at the bottom benefit? So we say, hey, this greater diversity is really good. So it's good for everybody, but it's especially good for people with less power and lesser means, right? So how is that? Tell us, what do you think? What do you think they're thinking? Like, what do you think? Anybody?
Okay, I don't know how it would be beneficial to lesser means, but I think I like to add to what they both said. I think it is beneficial because you learn to accept, respect, and understand other people's cultures, and kind of like have an open mind. And instead of just like being used to one color, one ethnicity being around you, like he said, you're kind of getting used to everybody and learning to respect everybody.
Okay, so that sounds like what you would say for people with greater power and privilege and opportunity. What would you say for people with less power, privilege, and opportunity? Why is diversity good for them? Do you have a response? That's a cool response. I like that. Yeah.
Okay, because in the beginning I didn't know what you meant by lesser means until like you explained it. And okay, so first off, I want to say it's kind of hard because there's so many things you can say about like for the people that have like greater means.
Yeah.
But people for the lesser means, if they had like benefited from like some kind of diversity, it would help them feel like they're not alone.
Okay.
And if it helps them to not feel alone, so I feel like there could be more inclusion rather than exclusion.
Okay. All right. So meaning that help them feel not alone. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I like that. Somebody else.
So yeah, when we're talking about, lesser means when involving educational, community, and workplace diversity, I feel like if anyone with lesser means is coming to a school like this, and they have all of that here, that will almost help them build up to that point where I guess the non-lesser means people.
So it helps them to know, it might help people with down at the bottom to be able to interact with people at the top.
Yeah.
Like you don't just get to the top, right? You got to be able to engage people, right? Samel, do you have anything to add to that? Like you gotta work your way up there.
Yeah, I think it's like for people with lesser means, I think of like networking.
Okay.
So, for example, we'll say low-income people and they get the opportunity to go to college and somehow, get into college and stuff. So, if they weren't in college, they probably wouldn't be open to the resources, opportunity, and meeting people who are of higher income, grew up more wealthy. And because they're in college and they get to meet these people, those people that they meet can help them get to where they need to be.
Here at Penn State, you may just not be tuned into it, but we have a lot of programs at Penn State that are geared toward exactly what Samal just said. It's like people who don't have easy networks. Like there's some of you who before you even started college, you knew where you were going to do your 2 or 3 internships because your parents or your uncle or your grandparents or your neighbor or somebody has already like laid it out for you. Like you know it. You know what you're going to do. It's taken care of. But there are other people in here who have no idea. They don't even know where to start. And they don't even really understand. They go to the advisor, and the advisor says, well, go over to the career fair. And they go to the career fair, and the career fair officer says, well, what do you feel like doing in life? And they're like, I don't know. And, it was like me when I saw my high school guidance counselor the one time in probably like April when I was graduating high school. And I went down for the mandatory meeting. And the guy says, what do you want to do with your life? And I said, I don't know. And he said, well, stand up. Look out the window. What do you see? And I said, I don't know. Nothing. And he said, the world is out there. You can do anything you want in the world. I'm like, motherfucker. Like, what? In my mind, I didn't say that to him, but in my mind, I'm just like, I had no idea. I had no connections. I had no idea. I had nothing. And so we at Penn State, we have all these programs set up for people who don't have any network opportunities and connections. And so we do that. And this is like an affirmative action program here at Penn State, where we're not investing resources into those of you who are rich. So they go, oh, why don't we help you network even better? Oh, you're going to do your internship at Merrill Lynch because your uncle is a senior management advisor there? Oh, well, we have this program at Penn State that will get you into the office of the CEO of Merrill Lynch. Like, we don't do that. But what we do is we take people with lesser means and we're like, hey, we're going to like hook you up and get you started here. That's affirmative action. This is the kind of thing we're talking about here. Okay?
Hi, I have a quick question. So
Yeah.
you said that Penn State has a lot of programs that are similar to the affirmative actions.
Yeah, like different things. No, I was just pointing out one particular set of programs that we would set up for people with, say, like lesser means, you know what I mean? That we say, hey, we're going to do this.
But a lot of scholarships or opportunities that are offered by Penn State usually has like requirements and eligibilities.
Exactly,
But
man.
so the thing is that even though you said that there are a lot of programs that offer the affirmative actions provided by Penn State, some of the scholarships or even opportunities only require people who have like above 3.6.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people
Yeah.
who are in lesser means who have to put themselves in the job, like in the workforce
Yeah.
after the college life. So they probably don't have enough time or like.
Exactly.
So do you really think that it's fairness that the college is offering?
That's what we do, man. This is the thing. So what we do is we decide, hey, we got to have cutoffs. The best and the smartest of you have higher GPAs, which is complete nonsense and lunacy, but nonetheless, we got to do that. And then what we do is we have some other programs that aren't about money, but it's about other things. And then we're like, okay, we'll do these other programs for people who may not have those GPAs and stuff. Yeah, no, I don't think it's fair.
Also, I have another question.
All right, go
So
ahead.
don't you think like also majors or the college, like liberal arts college doesn't
Yeah.
have enough funds as much as the Smale College of Business? I mean, I'm not saying that they
Yeah, we
don't
got-
offer
yeah,
funds,
yeah,
but in the job search or workforce wise,
Yeah.
people who are in lesser means can't really take advantage of or like
No, because
can't
it's
take
hard.
risk of joining in,
exactly.
Yeah, so
Exactly.
do you really think that
No, exactly.
Yeah,
Which is
so-
why you have to have certain kinds of, as much as you can at a place like Penn State, let's say, or workplaces or whatever. You got to have certain programs in place to kind of, you're always looking out for people who maybe have not had the same opportunity. The problem is you don't know who they are. So you got to find some way to know who they are. And that becomes really difficult. Yeah, no, I think it's hard. It's all, I don't know what, I get paid to rant. That's all I do. So.